Hello students, today as a part of the sequence of the video lectures for the BCom first semester business organization, in the second unit, after the completion of the one-person company and different other forms of business organizations, namely sole proprietorship, partnership, cooperative societies and joint stock companies, and thereafter the one-person company, the next topic in our syllabus is the service sector business. See, you might have remembered well that in India the economy has been categorized under three sectors. Those three sectors are primary sector, secondary sector and the tertiary sector. So what is the primary sector? The primary sector is related to agriculture. The secondary sector is related to industry. And the third sector, which is called as tertiary sector, is called as service sector. Service sector. So why there is a need for us to study the service sector business management as a part of the business organizations? That is a general and logical question arises in the mind of the learners. First of all, I would like to justify it. The main thing here is, already in the business organizations we have studied about different forms of business structures. After that, we are going into the learning of the service sector business organization. Why? If you go back to the fundamental concepts of business, we have divided the business into two categories. One is trade and the another one is auxiliaries to trade or aids to trade. So in the aids to trade or the auxiliaries to trade, we have well discussed about the various services which are used for the smooth functioning of the business activity which is conducted under the trade. Maybe trade includes industry also, commerce and industry. So in order to promulgate a smooth way of functioning of the business and commerce, there is a need of support in the form of the services flexibility and services management. For that, the service sector business, it is also a business, and the service management has been an integral part of our syllabus unit 2 business organizations. So now we will go for what is a service in a simplest way of defining what is a business. A service is an act or performance offered by one party to another party. If you clearly observe, a service is an act or performance offered by one party to another party. Means there are minimum two parties. One party is called as service provider and the second party is called as service consumer or service user. Then only there is a possibility of the delivery of service. It is an act or performance offered by one party to the another party. While offering the service by one party to the other party, it is obvious that sometimes the services are offered for tangible goods and products, and sometimes the services offered in the intangible products. Now, there is another question arises. What is a product? What is a product? If you have remembered what you have already studied in your earlier courses, a product may be a physical good. A product may be a service. And the third one is a product may be both good and service. Means the business is done with the products like goods. The business is done with services, provision of services or delivery of services or selling of services. And sometimes the product is a combination of both good and service. Or sometimes under the classification of good and service or the service, we can also have a product may be an idea also. Just like our consultancy services, expert services. Like that, we have already studied a gamut of different observations and conceptual knowledges in the earlier classes. Now coming to the question of why and how there is a need and the emergence of service sector in India particularly. If you observe why there is a need for us to study it separately, because India by its nature of its service sector is the 12th largest service providing country in the world by way of GDP, and the 4th largest having the purchasing power if taken into account. The total employment opportunities provided under the service sector is also more than 27%, nearly 30%. Why this happened? This happened because of several features. What are those? The first one is the economic affluence. The growing economic affluence across the world as well as within India too has substantially made it needed to increase the impetus of the service sector in the country. The second one is the changing role of women. Day to day, those olden days are gone where woman is confined to a housewife or a housemaker. Nowadays, women are equally participating in each and every area, and they have their own contribution towards the growth and development of the country by way of contributing something to the GDP of the country. Henceforth, when the role of a woman is changed by way of profession, by way of business and by way of other things, automatically the service sector has been emerging into a big one. Next, the third point is change in culture. There is now not a individual culture of a country. Now, the culture of every country has become a compounded culture, a mixed culture. So, there is a huge change in culture by dividing the main culture into subcultures. And due to this globalization also, the cultural setup has been gradually changing. The another factor for the emergence of service sector in India is the growth of IT and IT enabled services across the globe and even in India also. And in the whole world, India is renownedly known for the leadership in the IT and IT enabled services. Due to that, the service sector is growing rapidly. The next point is there is a huge change in the attitudinal setup of the people of the country. The healthcare consciousness has also been gradually increasing, and the institutions who go for healthcare services provision are also increasing. The next point is economic liberalization. The transformation of the Indian economy from the mixed economic system to the present globalized economic system with the advent of the LPG policy, liberalization, privatization and globalization policy adopted as a part of new economic policy as a reforms in the economic policy in 1991. Now it has become a global market, and due to that the need and the growth of the service sector is enunciated largely in the Indian economy. The next point is the migration of the rural people from the urban. You might have been observing that huge number of rural migrants were coming back to their places in the advent of the lockdown and after the scenario of the lockdown across the country from one state to another state, from the one corner to the another corner. Why? Because of the increased avenues of service sector, huge number of skilled laborers and unskilled laborers and semi-skilled laborers who might have migrated earlier to the urban areas from the rural frontiers of the country shows that there is an increase in the service sector of the country. The next one is there is an increase in the export potential of the goods and services from the country to the outside of the country due to the change in the exim policies of the country from time to time since the new economic policy and reforms in the new economic policy since 1991. And the last one what we can say is the imposition of the service tax as a part of that. When once the service tax has been started imposed, automatically the service provision and the service delivery has come into the gamut of the business arena. That has contributed to a major extent to the GDP of the country and the tax revenue of the country. So henceforth, these are some of the changes that made on the part of the service sector of the country. Now we will go for the various types of services being offered at present in India. Broadly, according to several classifications, now India holds about 13 types of services in our country, starting from trade related services, telecom and related information sector services, legal services, tourism including hotels and restaurants, that is hospitality industries, real estate services, consultancy services, shipping services, IT services, construction services, port services, accounting and auditing services, storage services and research and development services. These are named to be some of the or majorly renowned services being offered in the Indian service sector. So once we studied about the basic knowledge about the definition of the service as an act or performance offered by one party to another party, the definition is get influenced by some characteristics of the service. So what are those characteristics? We can go for a quick brief review of the 7 important characteristics of a service. The first characteristic of the service is perishability. This is the first service characteristic. Perishability means as and when the service is delivered, there is no physical evidence, there is no evidence. Means it is consumed and there is no presence or smudge of the service whenever it is over. Next one is there is a fluctuating demand for service. fluctuating demand. There is no constant demand. Services can be utilized at the will of the service consumers or the service users. As and when there is a need, the persons or the consumers or the users or the customers will approach for the service. Hence, there is a fluctuation. In peak seasons, there is a peak demand. In normal, there is a normal demand. In some slack period, there is a very less demand for the services. The third one is intangibility. Intangibility means physically you cannot touch, you cannot see, and you cannot observe. You cannot show it in a physical format. The next one is heterogeneity. Heterogeneity. This is also one of the features of the service. Heterogeneity in the sense there is no uniformity. There is no standardized way, and it depends upon the way and the manner in which the service is produced and delivered to the service user or the consumer, right? The next one is pricing of services. The pricing of services, it is also very much an important characteristic of the service. Here, basing upon the demand, basing upon the perishability, and basing upon the inseparability, or basing upon the quality of the service provider, and basing upon the competition also, the pricing of the services do vary from time to time. And the last one, what we can enter into is the inseparability. Inseparability means you cannot differentiatedly see the service and the service provider. Means you cannot distinguish the difference between the service and the service provider. It depends upon the whole and soulless of the art and science of the service management of the service provider. So due to this, there is a change in the quality also sometimes, but the quality is depends upon the policy of the service provider or the infrastructure provided by the service provider, as well as the feeling of the service user also. So the quality is an important factor here. So now coming to all these questions, we will go for the way how the services sector is facing some challenges. The first challenge it is there is a perishability and intangibility. The basic characteristics, if you observe, the services are often produced and consumed simultaneously because you cannot store it. When once you cannot store it, you cannot go for a comparison. It is a psychological feeling only. Henceforth, often the services are produced and consumed simultaneously. Due to that, sometimes there is a problem on the part of the service provider, or sometimes a problem on the part of the service user also. So that's why it's a big challenge. The second one is the trust is very important factor here. How a consumer or the service user or service getter is going to feel it. Always there is a suspicion hangs in the mind of the service user or the consumer of the service. Because of that, the mistrust is there. Henceforth, the generation of trust by the service provider is a big question mark. This is also one challenge. The next one is intangibility. Here again we go for. Generally, in the case of getting the goods, we can go for a physical verification or touching or a eye-to-eye combination of verification of the features of the product. But in the case of the service as a product, the question of intangibility is a big drawback here. A client cannot see or touch services prior to the consumption of the service or prior to the purchase of the services. The next one is brand marketing. Here we are generally observing, in the case of getting a service, generally we prefer branded services or the professionals who are reputed in the field of the service. Henceforth, the brand image is a big question mark here, and it is not so easy to get the brand image also. Next one is active leadership in the service arena. That is also a big question mark because of huge competition, and the service quality differs. The service experience is also differs from the customer point of view. Henceforth, the leadership generation or creativity includes with the leadership generation is a question mark. And sometimes the another problem here is the service providers do not have their marketing directly. They will have their marketing people differently. So the marketing and selling both are different. Henceforth, what happens? There is a big problem on the part of converting the marketing task into a sale is a question mark here. Sometimes there is a loss of momentum also. And the last one is the effect of interest. How the service provider is taking care of an interest while providing the service, as well as the consumer or service consumer or the customer or the service user, and what interest is eluded in the mind of the customer itself is also a big question mark. Right? Now we will go for the learning of one another concept, that is what? Service triangle, which is a must and art part in the case of the businesses. I will be going for an advanced version, even though it is not in your syllabus. I will be going for some advanced version of it, because when once you complete your BCom, most probably you will be entering into the management arena, maybe MBA program or PGDM program with business schools or some other MBA colleges. There you will have the specialization of marketing. In the marketing, you have a subject, namely services marketing. So when there is a subject of services marketing, you will have a good and complete and in-depth study of the services marketing as a discipline in the marketing arena. So as a part of that, now we will go for learning of what is a service triangle. Why I am saying this? Well, once you understand the services triangle or the service triangle or service triangle marketing or management, you will have some in-depth understanding of the earlier concepts what you have listened up to now. That's why I have taken this context to make yourself much more in-depth way of taking a logical understanding of the services business. Now we will go for a service triangle. In the service triangle, there are 3 points of the triangle. The first point is company. The first point is company. The second point is employee. And the third point is customer. Company, employee and customer. So then what is the interaction between these 3 points? If you observe here, the interaction between the company and the employee is called as internal marketing. Internal marketing. The interaction between the company and the customer is called as external marketing. And the interaction between the employee and the customer is called as interactive marketing. Interactive marketing. Right? So why this? For example, if there is a company, before launching the service to the actual market, the company will go for marketing of the same service which will be going to be delivered into the market in future course of time as a business will be tested or delivered first of all among the employees or to the employees of the company. Means the company will go for a verification of the genuinity, the validity, the efficacy, the effectiveness of the service from the company to the employee by way of getting a feedback from the employee again to the company. Because employees are the internal environment of the company itself. The employees who are belonging to the company are also a part of a segment of the society also. They are also consumers. They are also the end users. Automatically, whatever the services being designed here will be tested on the part of the employees by way of marketing internally. The pros and cons observed here will be settled afterwards. Minor adjustments or major adjustments will be made here. With the help of what? With the help of systems. You cannot forget, for every business organization there is a system. So minor adjustments in the systems will take place. When once there is an internal change in the systems, automatically there is an upgradation on the internal marketing. When once it is over, the company will have two options. Either the company will market it through the employees to the customer. Most of the times it is direct marketing. And sometimes the company will directly deliver the goods to the customers without the inculcation of the employee, like online, digital transactions, digital marketing, whatever it may. So the marketing through the company directly to the customer through external means is called as external marketing. The marketing through the employees to the customer by way of using the marketing mix strategies, personal selling, sales promotion, advertising, direct marketing and publicity. They are all the marketing mix elements or strategies. The promotion mix elements and strategies. The promotion mix and strategies will be applied here for interactive marketing. Now you are having a clear-cut idea how the services will be going to get marketed. When once this concept has imbibed in your mind, the next question arises, what is the concept of quality here in the services? As we have already mentioned here, always there is a hanging sword on the part of the service provider, service creator, service deliverer or service marketer, that quality. If there is a change in a minute level change in the quality, there is a huge gap of service expected from the customer to the company, from the company. So the service gap is a dangerous one on the part of the repeated sales or repeated delivery of the services and repeated sale of the services by the company to the customer. Henceforth, the service quality, which is also a biggest problem here in the services marketing. So the concept is called as ServiQual, means services quality. So then what is the services quality? The services quality is a contemporary conceptualization, is a comparison of perceived expectation of a service with the perceived performance, giving rise to the equation SQ is equal to P minus E. SQ means service quality, P means perception of the service and E is expected quality, right? So how the service is perceived and performed? The service is perceived by customer, the service is also perceived by the service deliverer also. If there is a gap between the customer perception and the service performance by the service provider, that is also a big question mark. And the second one is expectancy. For example, I go for a particular company by choosing the brand image of the company and expect some performance and having some satisfaction through it, but there is no real-time satisfaction or there is a huge gap between my expected and delivered, automatically the expectation is at a loss. means in future the problem of repeated service delivery is a question mark. Henceforth, the formula says that SQ is equal to P minus E. P means performance, E is equal to expectation. If there is a difference between these two, which is called as service gap, it is a big chapter in your services marketing, gap analysis. So due to that, what happens is, it is always preferred by the service sector businessman to always keep in mind the formula. And through this, what happens? They will go for a possible systematic changes in the service triangle, and through this they will go for a perfect way of delivery of the services and to have a more vigorant, vibrant way of services marketing and services business. With these few words, I would like to thank you for your patient listening. Thank you very much.